You're listening to Tehachapod with Key Budge, Corey Costello, and Greg Garrett.
It's Tehachapod time again. Key Budge, Greg Garrett, Corey Costello. Guys, how are you?
Doing good.
Yeah, well, happy to be back.
Hey, Corey, where's the energy?
Well, I know. I'm waiting. This is just the beginning part. Like the energy
You're
comes
saving it?
when I'm.
It's not game time?
Exactly. You got to warm up at some point.
Well,
Like,
you were warming up just 2 minutes ago. About where's the energy just went out like poof.
Any athlete should understand that you just can't go out. You got to warm up because you're gonna pull something if you don't do this right. Same goes with your energy.
Whatever.
Well, there you have it. All right, we got a little laughter. That's a good start. That's where I like
That's
it.
right.
We've got that positive energy going. And today we want to talk about a positive program that's starting here in the state of California.
Super excited about litter cleanup, and I'm minimizing it, of course. But in Tehachapi, we have a lot of wind, and when you open your car doors, napkins go flying. And we have a lot of volunteers that are all over this community picking up, and along with the city, we have part-time crews that are just every day picking up litter. But the state of California has made a bigger project out of this. They're funding something that's near and dear to our heart. So I'm very excited about discussing it today.
Yeah,
the state has made a commitment to keep California clean.
There's some cool stuff too on top of that as well. Just on top of the litter, there's some opportunities for grants for folks like us to create spaces for the public. And so,
and nonprofit opportunities for nonprofits. And we'll get all into that.
Yeah, we are. And let's do it right now. Let's invite in Joe Reidhead from Caltrans District 9. Joe, welcome to Tehachapod.
Thank you, Key. Good to be here.
It's nice to have you. You made the trip down from Bishop just to come down and talk about Clean California.
That's right.
Because we got a chance to chat ahead of time and just kind of make sure we had a better understanding of the program. But that's what we want to do for the listener, because there's opportunity here for everyone that's listening to get involved in this Clean California program.
Yeah, there sure is. So the Clean California program, it is a $1.1 billion program. And it's a part of Governor Newsom's larger initiative of the Comeback California Plan, which is a $100 billion program.
Things used to be $1 million. Now they're $1 billion.
Yeah, they start with a B.
Yeah, we used to think, $1 million. Now we're just throwing around billions.
$100 million doesn't buy what it used to.
Anyway, sorry to distract you.
No, I'm often reminded of Dr. Evil and
that's
$1 billion.
$1 billion or
very
$1 million.
true.
Which did he say? I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I tend to do that.
Yeah, so there are, with Clean California, there's kind of four big key action areas. And one of those is litter abatement, of course. And about a third of that budget will be going directly towards litter abatement efforts. So Caltrans will be hiring on approximately 11,000 new employees, and a lot of those people will be going onto litter abatement crews. But Caltrans is also expanding the Adopt a Highway program. So when people are driving up and down state highways, they'll see the little signs that say Adopt a Highway, and often there is a local individual's name or a local nonprofit or a business. Well, you can do that. You can adopt a highway. It's free. And with Clean California, we're expanding that program. And there will be a stipend. So people are going to get paid pretty much to go out and adopt a highway. And that stipend is up to $250 per cleanup event, up to 12 times per year. And people can adopt a part of a highway, a state highway. They can adopt a on-ramp or an off-ramp, and they can even adopt a park and ride and go out there and clean up and really help the community. So since 1989, which is when the program started, over 120,000 Californians have participated in this program.
So you've expanded it. I think most listeners are probably familiar with the Adopt a Highway, but it's usually a long stretch, maybe a mile long. So Caltrans said, hold on a minute, we have other areas. If you want to just adopt an on-ramp or an off-ramp, I'm just repeating you, but I think it's important for the listener to recognize that there are smaller opportunities for an individual or maybe a nonprofit. If you're a nonprofit, now Caltrans is going to pay volunteers up to $250 an event, up to 12 events a year to keep that section clean.
Right.
So it's win-win.
Oh, yeah. And we provide you with all the trash bags you need. It's free to volunteer. It's free to join and sign up. Caltrans helps you out along the way, takes care of all that, helps with all that paperwork, getting it filled out. And yeah, just like you said, we're trying to make it easier for people to participate in
And
this.
quite frankly, it's $250 is not free, right? You're giving the money out, of course, the taxpayer dollars, but that's more affordable than a full-time employee at Caltrans or the city of Tehachapi, right? So the nonprofit wins and the taxpayer wins, and we have a cleaner California.
Correct. The Adopt a Highway program saves us millions of dollars.
Or maybe billions.
Maybe billions.
Yeah, you know.
It also
Many
incentivizes
billions.
a little bit too, because we talked about the program before, and sometimes what the shortfall is, people get their sign up, their names on the highway, and they're like, great, and then once in a while they go out and clean it up. But especially if you're looking at a nonprofit angle or community group, to where, hey, this could be funding for you to go out and not only get your name on a sign, but also get some money in your bank, in your account, so to speak, to do that community work is great. I think it's a great opportunity for nonprofits specifically. I got my wheels turning too about a few I'm involved with, thinking
A
might
few?
not be a
You're
bad
involved
idea.
in quite a few.
Yeah, there's I have a couple of my favorites though.
Okay.
Don't tell the rest of them. There's a few that are my
I
favorite.
think they probably know.
Yeah, so the wheels are turning. Like, hey, this is a great opportunity. That's real money. If they
is.
can hit that threshold of the $250 per event, that's serious money for some.
Well,
small
when we were
nonprofits.
talking earlier, Joseph, Highway 202 goes through the city and then out through Golden Hills, ends up in the Cummings Valley. And we're not aware of anybody that is currently adopting and or cleaning up trash on 202. So this would be a great opportunity for the entire Tehachapi Valley. And then 58, of course, right? A bigger highway that goes through our big valley here.
Correct. We need Adopt a Highway volunteers on the 202.
Yeah.
As I talked to, so our Adopt a Highway coordinator for Caltrans District 9, which covers Eastern Kern County, which is where we're at here. It covers all of Inyo County, all of Mono County. His name's Tom Scott. If people want to volunteer, they can reach him at 866 Adopt a Highway, and you just dial that, and it'll redirect you to Tom. And I talked to him before I came down. He said, we need people on the 202. Mm-hmm. We had a couple of spots adopted, but they're not active anymore, and we desperately need people on that.
And so I
stretch of
see
road.
people out there a lot, but they must just be doing it because they care, right? And we appreciate that. But you
That's
can
awesome.
sign up and get your name on a sign if you want it, or your organization. You can promote your organization. You get $250 a month. That can go into your kitty, and you can put that back into the community, right? It's this cycle.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, you get a chance to go out and help the community, but it's that pride. You're showing the pride that you live here. You're taking ownership. And I know the Masonic Lodge was big. Jim Edwards, Jim was a friend that I would see him out there all the time, and I stopped. And that's how I met Jim, is I remember seeing him out on a regular basis picking up trash along the 202 in that section the Masonic Lodge had. He was I'm doing it because of another friend that he had within the organization that had got it started, and he was carrying the torch. And I think Jim has moved, so it's ready for someone to pick up that torch and continue on those areas of pride.
It's kind of like a revival a little bit, right? A Baptist revival. We've had this project, Caltrans, the Adopt a Highway, and in the beginning, people would adopt and big stuff was happening, right? But then over time, and then we get COVID, and things happen, right? Life happens. And we're here now to re-energize our community about adopting a freeway or highway, I should say.
We had such a great Earth Day week this year. The first time since I've been here that Earth Day has spanned it a week because of the amount of volunteer groups that wanted to come out and pick up litter and carry that energy and show the pride. And it was really successful, but it starts at that community level. It's not something that we were being approached. Hey, where can we clean up? Where can we clean up? And I remember reaching out to Christine to get Tom's contact information about the Adopt a Highway. And it's then all of a sudden Clean California and puts it on steroids and amps it up. So we're ready to really pick this program up and push it out.
Yeah, we are. And that's, what I'm hearing you all say, it's exactly what this program's about. It's energizing our communities. It's driving this shift towards shared responsibility for keeping our communities clean. During the pandemic, we saw increased dumping, illegal dumping out in the desert around here. We saw more takeout containers, as people are driving down the road. Like you said, they blow out the window
Masks.
or something like that.
Masks.
Oh my!
I did a cleanup event with Love Tehachapi, and a couple years ago it was receipts, right? Because receipts in Tehachapi, you put them in your bag when you leave Walmart. Next thing you know, boom, they're gone. When you hit the doors, they blow out. But no, it was masks. We were picking up masks constantly.
Yeah, and we need Clean California. It's about reaching into our communities and saying, hey, we're in this together, and let's do this together. And the expanding the Adopt a Highway program, building out these litter abatement programs, that's just one component of Clean California.
And so Caltrans, you provide all of the materials, right? Bags,
Correct.
The pickup devices. City of Tehachapi provides that now when people pick up organizations, pick up in the city or the community. We do that, but you'll do the same, right?
Yeah, along with hard hats, we want to invest to keep people safe out there.
So what are the other, you talked about it's one of the phases of Clean California. What are the other parts, the other thirds, so to speak, of this entire initiative that's being rolled out?
Yeah, that's a good question. So 1/3 is this litter abatement. Another third is local grants. And
Oh, you piqued my interest.
there you go. Yeah, as I knew I would. So the local grants, they are going to go to local cities, agencies, tribes, transit centers. Nonprofits can be secondaries on those grants, but not like a primary applicant. And the grants are emphasizing local beautification projects. So a big kind of a key word in that these days is this idea of placemaking. So infrastructure that, like sidewalks and plazas, where there are components that bring everybody together, whether it's local art installations, trees for shade, vegetation. That's a problem that we're now recognizing as this urban heat island effect. And through these local grants, we're trying to encourage that and help communities to build these. And with the grants, we're able to say, hey, you know what you need in your community. We're not here to tell you how to do it. And this is how we're going to support that.
But all the money that Caltrans is providing through this program must be spent in the Caltrans right-of-way, right? So it's not like the city of Tehachapi could apply for something 3 blocks from Highway 58 or...
No, for the local grant, that does not need to be within the state
all right.
right-of-way.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, so
now my wheels are really
We've
spinning.
already had a couple meetings on
All
this,
right.
and
Yeah.
we'll fill you in later, Greg.
Oh, yeah, I'm on the need to know, I guess. Okay.
yeah, and we're hoping that that it does stimulate, that it helps local artists be featured. That some areas are looking at doing murals, some areas are looking at doing parks, kind of in the islands between some of their highways that have divided communities.
Sure.
So it's a way to connect communities.
And we don't want to spend money just to spend money, that's for sure. If we come up with a project or two, it's going to be legitimate. That's going to assist our placemaking in Tehachapi, because you're speaking to people that are all about that. We have been driving towards a higher quality of life for many years with everyone's help in this community.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the next phase of the program? So covers 2/3.
That's 2/3 of it. It is a 3-year program, so all of this will be happening over the course of that. The other one is state beautification projects. That's about another $300 million, and that will be happening within the state right of way. And so each district is right now figuring out what projects they're going to do. So they're talking with their local communities and kind of refining those ideas before they kind of pitch it to the state and say, hey, this is what we want to do. But those are similar to the projects we just discussed for the local grants, but within the state right of way.
That's what I was thinking. So now my idea real quick is Highway 58 202 interchange there at Tucker at the top, right? When Tucker was realigned, it's kind of a big desert island, and that's the entrance to our community by the bridge that goes over the railroad tracks. That's where we're going to focus. Maybe. We'll see.
It's not what we met.
Council's
It's not what we
decision.
met about, but we'll have to change.
I'll override you.
No, that was for the
No,
other
but, I
third.
mean,
No, we're good.
yeah,
This is
but-
a different third.
But
Okay,
honestly,
we're fine.
that's the entrance to our community,
Right.
and it's a desert island.
Yeah, and there's a lot of focus on that, to the entrances to communities, to these islands of concrete and infrastructure that just get abandoned. And how can we turn those into places of pride for all Californians?
We talked earlier about the cleanup that goes on that you guys have started, and we've noticed as we've talked about cleanup efforts that Caltrans is making on Highway 58. Where are we going with that here?
So
in the
before
future?
you answer that, I just want to send a shout out to District 9 Director Ryan Dermody. He has listened to us in Tehachapi, and he's been prodding this and figuring it out, and he's budgeted money, and the Lincoln group, we'll talk about that. But I appreciate the ability to call him. He listens, and things are getting done, like the litter cleanup in Tehachapi, because it is a big problem. With our wind, this Venturi effect that we have on top of the hill here, the napkins flying, like you said, Corey, it's chronic, right? Every day you're cleaning something up, and he's listened, and it's making a positive difference. So thank you to all the District 9 employees for listening to us.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Yeah, so during the pandemic, Caltrans District 9 contracted with the Lincoln Training Center, which employs a lot of folks with disabilities and gets them jobs and gets them out there working. And so that contract is to do litter abatement along the 58, and I think actually a couple other areas too. And actually, they will be up on the 202 up here next week, I believe.
Nice.
Doing a cleanup up here. And that program is going to continue. So that program is in the process of coming into the Clean California program. And that'll be under our superintendent, Jerry Hartz, who is going to be running all of that those litter abatement crews. Mm-hmm. And we'll keep doing that. Because
it's been very
great.
successful.
You can tell. You can not only 202, but I noticed it on the 58 because that road, stuff falls out of people's car or off semi trucks and ends up against the median or whatever, and it just collects there, and it takes forever. It used to take a long time to get it cleaned up, but I've noticed. That stuff, those stretch, from here to Bakersfield specifically, a lot cleaner now as those guys are there on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then there's another component of this as well, and that's education. And that's really what my job is. So I'm the Public Information Officer for Clean California in District 9. And in addition to just informing the public of what the Clean California program is doing in our district, I'm also out there doing things like this podcast, just educating and trying to reach into our communities and say, hey, what can we do together? Again, that shared responsibility. Keep our places beautiful. Keep this problem from happening again. Get ahead of it. And we'll continue doing that. And I'm always open to ideas. So I am constantly trying to reach into the community and say, hey, how can I help you educate the community? What can we do to do this together?
I'm just thinking back when I was a kid, sides of the roads were littered with aluminum and glass cans. People just throw it out. And then the state slowly started creating a recycling program, right? And then all of a sudden, nonprofits, I remember my church group, we wanted to go to church camp, and we would go pick up aluminum cans, right? So I'm seeing we're learning from our past, and we're introducing yet another program that's going to help, using tax dollars, of course. We don't take that lightly, but it's important. It's so important to have a nice, clean, organized community. Otherwise, you get what you get, and that's just not acceptable.
Yep.
Well, it's a part of that broken window theory.
Absolutely.
If you don't take care of that broken window, you're going to have another broken window. But if you fix it and you show pride, then that becomes contagious. Yeah. So go ahead, Joe. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, yeah. Well, to shout out to Kern County. So Kern County has the Keep Kern Beautiful program going on and is offering free dump days, free curbside pickup of large items, and is doing it quite regularly. So we're also doing free dump days as well as part of the Clean California program. But when we did one down at Ridgecrest not that long ago, and in the process of that learned, oh, wow, there's this awesome initiative that Kern is doing already and is plugging into this. Mm-hmm. And what we're seeing is that all levels of government, from the state down to the county to the cities, that we're all getting onto the same messaging, onto the same initiatives, the same action points. And that's when we can really start to do a lot of good because we're all on this same page.
I know Mayor
awesome.
Smith is big into cleaning up people's yard. On the north side of the tracks, Key, we've had such a resurgence of, let's clean up our town. And Corey with WM, formerly Waste Management, they're a big partner of ours, hauling to the landfill, and Kern has opened the doors, not charging us. So we have a really good partnership here in this community with all the entities, public and private.
Yeah, that's one thing. Joe and I have had a couple of conversations, and I put him in contact with a couple of our volunteer groups, Love Tehachapi being one, because Nicole was saying that you guys had talked and we're hoping to get together soon. And we talk about this all the time. I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. If we collaborate and work together, we could be much more efficient. We've got, like you mentioned, Kern Public Works has the monthly here in Tehachapi Household Hazardous Day, and we promote that on their behalf. And it's become so popular that our own county supervisor was out there and it was closing down, and he made the call and says, hey, we need to expand the hours because we've got such a great turnout here in Tehachapi. And then they've added extra days during the warmer months. So we'll sometimes get it twice a month, because we get that kind of community participation in the program to make it successful. It's not just a 3-hour drop-off. It now became a 4-hour drop-off that's, at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. But that was us working together, and sharing communication responsibilities because, whether you live in the city of Tehachapi, you also live in the county of Kern, and you also live in the state of California, and sometimes we kind of lose sight of that. Let's work together and make these programs successful.
And we don't want to just throw money at things, right? Partnerships are what makes the world go round. And in Tehachapi, we have great partnerships, and we don't have a scenic highway in the Tehachapi area, like a June Lake Loop. I mean, it's beautiful, right? But this valley is also very beautiful. The drive from Tehachapi to Bakersfield is amazing. Right. And when you drive out to Cummings Valley, it's amazing. It's beautiful in its own way.
Yeah.
The desert is beautiful. And why not maintain it? Right. Why not create your own scenic byway in your own head and keep track of it?
Let's share that information for people that want to reach out and get involved in the Adopt a Highway program, which is expanded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, if they call 866 Adopt a Highway, that will take them to their local Adopt a Highway coordinator. For Caltrans District 9, again, that covers Tehachapi, Eastern Kern, so Mojave. We go all the way down to Rosamond, Ridgecrest, so all of Inyo County, and then all of Mono County. And again, 866 Adopt a Highway.
And virtually all of it's open and available to adopt.
For the 202, yeah. And then a lot of down here, virtually everything. You'll see some signs where you see a sign, you can't adopt that one. But if you see a stretch where you're like, there's no sign here for a few miles, ask about that stretch. And, and something that's near you. That's what we have a lot of our community members do.
And then some people just do anonymous, or every once in a while I'll see a name, like, is that a real name? Or is that somebody's, just, if you're a friend of that guy, you don't need the promotion necessarily. But if you're a nonprofit, you would want the promotion, right? So that opportunity is there. So you could call the number, talk to somebody live, and talk about opportunities in this area.
The website's also cleancalifornia.ca, cleancalifornia.dot.ca.gov, Department of Transportation.
And Key, can we put a link here on our on the website, city website, or how can we make it super easy for people?
Show notes of the show.
There you go.
Can do
something.
Yeah, there's it's pretty clear on that. If you go to the Clean California webpage, you can find the information, the online applications for the Adopt the Highways, the rules, regulations, all that cool stuff. So
litter is a big deal to me. I hate litter. I know Ryan has. I've talked to him a lot. The mayor and I talk about it. The public works director, Don, and we're doing stuff. We're not just talking about it. We're hiring people and we're picking up litter every day, every work day. And we're committed to this at the city.
And one thing I like to tell this story around our office, because it is easy when, for those of us who are kind of implementing these programs, maybe at times we're not down there on the ground seeing things. And when we did the dump days, we hosted 3 of them. We had one up by Mammoth, between Mammoth and June Lake, at a spot called Smoky Bear Flat. We had one in Bishop and one in Ridgecrest. And they were all on the same day. I was working the one in Bishop where we collected, in a 4-hour period, almost 300 tires and 120 cubic yards of waste. And during that time, we got so busy, we were overwhelmed. And so I wound up working the line of cars as they waited and talking to people and talking to them about this program. And several people said, this is such a help for us. We cannot afford to get rid of these tires that have been sitting in our yard since before we bought the place or since before we inherited the place. But now there's an option for us to get rid of these. And this program is helping us to do that. So it's doing real good. It's reaching into the communities, to the underserved communities around us who need this help too.
Well, Corey, I remember when you were heading up the north side cleanup, there was a lot of families live in homes for decades, and then the refrigerator breaks, so they'll put it out back or on the porch because they don't have a truck to take it to the landfill. And so it was an eye-opening experience.
Just generational stuff. People literally had said the same thing. We're either renting this house or this. I inherited this house from my grandparents, and this stuff has just been here, and they didn't have a truck. I mean, we had a great one. My favorite story is when it was Chief Krager and I were going to a house, and there was a couch on the porch, and the lady's like, well, I could really use that couch to go, but it's not mine. It's technically the landlord's. And we're like, no problem. We loaded it up and took it off her hands.
I think you just create a liability for the city. Oh, goodness.
But it was one of those deals. She had no way to get rid of it. She didn't have a vehicle. And most people don't realize that stuff, for the most part, is free at the landfill to get rid of, but they don't have the, sometimes it costs money for doing tires.
You got to get it there.
You got to get it there. And
not everybody has a truck, and not everybody can pick stuff up.
Yeah. And with that project, we saw neighbors starting to help neighbors.
Yeah.
As we were doing it and we had the bins out, you start to see the community pride. And then, so neighbors brought their stuff over, and then they knew there was a disabled person or someone who had a medical issue, and they went over and helped them. And it was inspiring to see.
It was the revival.
Right.
Yeah, the stuff was so old, I must have murdered like 8 black widows that day, because there was stuff. You had to be so careful. This stuff had been around for so long. So it was a hazard of the job.
Well, Joseph, anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to bring up?
I think we really covered it all. Thank you so much for allowing me to come here today.
Let's share the phone number.
Invitation is always open. Yeah. Always.
Absolutely. Let's share the phone number again for those that would like to get involved in Adopt a Highway.
Yeah, one more time. That is 866 Adopt a Highway.
There you go. It's
and
easy
the
enough.
website again, Corey?
cleancalifornia.dot.ca.gov.
That was a test. I just wanted to see if we could get it
right.
The
dot threw me off earlier. I'm like, wait, there's a dot and it's spelled out. But no, it was DOT.
You can also go to cleanca.com. We have a redirect now.
So
we'll save you some
So
time.
there is
There you
some
go. Better. You made me sweat
State
over nothing.
bureaucracy, of course. Of course.
And if you'd like more information on the program, you can always reach out to us, and we'll make sure you get to the right people. We're always happy to direct people in the right direction. I know we've got a couple of things we want to talk about here as we are now in fall. The weather has shifted, and we feel a little bit of the fall weather.
Got a quick fall this year, man. We got a fall here all of a sudden. Boom.
Well, it got cold and the leaves fell in one day. I don't even.
Yeah.
But the Apple Festival was great, right? They got in right before the rainstorm that we had on Sunday night, early Monday morning. So Linda Carhart and that entire group of volunteers, Tehachapi really shined bright.
And we've got Trunk or Treat coming up on Halloween. It's going to be along F Street. The Tehachapi Police Foundation and the Tehachapi Police Department are effectively putting it on. They still need people to be trunks to set up shop and give out candy. So you can always reach out to the Tehachapi Police Department. That's the easiest way. Use the non-emergency number, which is 822-2222, and just say, hey, I want to get involved in Trunk or Treat, and they'll get something squared away.
Or bring candy to City Hall. We need candy, we need trunks, and every year that's big successful event, that's for sure.
And then following that, we're going to be doing the holiday decorating contest again this year.
Right.
And that is expanded to be entirely the entire Tehachapi area, all the way from Stallion, Bear Valley. Golden Hills has been split into 3 different areas because it was so popular last year. There were so many people who participated. So Oak Knolls will be represented, West Golden Hills, East Golden Hills, and then the 5 council districts in the city. And we'll have a business from the city and a business from the unincorporated area.
And this is kind of like Park and Recs. Everybody's a winner, but the council members can only choose one per district.
They can only choose
So we're making it hard for them to choose a winner.
Yeah, so we'll have a total of 12 winners this year.
Nice.
So 6 in the city, 6 in the county. The Loop newspaper is our partner. They'll be taking care of the awards for the county area. And you can start to register. If you,
I think, didn't you tell me you already got somebody to register?
someone in West Golden Hills has
my
already
goodness,
sent
I bet you
their
I know
address.
who it is. They're my neighbor, and they go all out, like all out.
Do they do the blow up stuff, or do they?
No,
do the
this is
lights?
legitimate. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually hired a live nativity scene this year. Like, they're that close.
Well, and that's cool. The beautiful thing about the contest and what the judges will be told is whatever moves you.
Yeah.
So there's a winner that might be the biggest and brightest in one area, but in another area it might be a simple nativity scene or something that's something very simple, or homemade decorations that speak to that judge and say, "Wow, it just made me feel warm and fuzzy." When I drove by, and then we'll provide all of the addresses for the participants to the community so you can drive by and see it. Last year it became one of those, take the family out, hot cocoa, bucket of chicken.
That was fun.
And go enjoy the holiday
When
decorations.
my kids were young, we used to go down to Bakersfield, Hagen Oaks, which is a nice neighborhood down there, and look at all the lights. Maybe we could get Caltrans to design the overpasses or decorate the overpasses. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
That would not crush. Yeah, that would not be a good use of taxpayer dollars. But and then right after Veterans Day, which is coming up here soon, we'll be taking down the flags in downtown Tehachapi and replacing it with the holiday decorations. The tree will go up in the depot park, not parking lot, but the
Plaza.
The plaza. Thank you. And we'll have the Christmas parade, the tree lighting ceremony, all the fun stuff for the kids.
This opens up the most challenging point of the year for yours truly, because it's Christmas decorating time, right? We're getting close to it. And, Mike Para, who left us, Mike and Greg were a very terrible team to have, because they would say, let's get lights for this. Greg said, go
you
do
enjoyed it.
Go
Children
do it.
of
Go
all
do it.
ages, right?
So-
Kids of all ages. Everyone loves lights.
Go! I need you to order more lights and more lights. So yeah, it's always you gotta rein Greg back a little bit Christmas time, because he wants to make and honestly, it looks fantastic every year. We do a little more, but
with LED, you can buy more lights because it doesn't cost as much with
that's
electricity.
right. You're saving money,
right? I mean, that's some weird.
Looking
math.
forward to it.
That's
this year,
the new
though.
math.
It's fun. Yeah.
Well,
It's fun time.
That's all right around the corner. As like you said, the weather changed so quickly. We've gone from fall, we've got winter, coming up, and things that I don't know. I look forward to. Mm-hmm. So, in more community events,
And it's snowing in Mammoth. That's super exciting, not just for the recreation, but for the snowpack. Right? We need snow in the Sierras. So I know it's snowed a couple times, not a lot, but we've got a good start to this winter.
Yeah.
And with that, we want to thank Joseph Reidhead from Caltrans District 9 for coming in. Joe, thank you. Just appreciate the time, the effort, and look forward to the success of this program.
Thank you, Key. I look forward to it too.
All right, guys. If there's not anything else, we'll wrap things up.
Nope, that'll do it.
All right. If we appreciate your time listening to Tehachapi, if there's a question that you have, feel free to send it to us at media@tehachapicityhall.com. If you want to enter your home or business in the decorating contest, send us that email, media@tehachapicityhall.com. Give us your name, address, phone number, and obviously we'll have your email address, and then you'll be officially signed up. We appreciate your time here on Tehachapi.
Tehachapi is a conversation about Tehachapi designed for the people who live here or who would like to know more about this mountaintop community. If you have a question you would like answered, email media@tehachapicityhall.com. We will try to answer it on a future episode of Tehachapi.